This is the Geek Speak Show. Welcome to the Geek Speak Show.
Interviews with the movers and shakers in geek culture.
Hi, I'm Chris Hardwick.
I'm Zach Whedon.
This is Mark Zickrey.
This is Scott Marcano, Mr. Diablo.
I'm Ralph Bakshi.
The Geek Speak Show is powered by Collider.com, GeekTyrant.com, RamaScreen.com, and Mightyville.com. Get ready to speak geek on the Geek Speak Show.
God bless the geeks.
Here are your hosts, Henry, Rachel, and Joe. And here we go with another exciting episode of the Geek Speak Show. Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Henry. Joel is here. Rachel is here. Jay Gibbs is here. She's recording the comics commentary. We'll hear that in just a few minutes. Louise Cray's got a geek movie rewind that is very apropos to what we're going to talk about. I'll get to that in just a few seconds. Let me also tell you, I'm going to introduce to you, finally, a fantasy football feature. We've been talking about this for 3 years now. We tried to do one, but as you all know, I don't really play fantasy football. I play the real football, but I do have somebody who does play fantasy football, does know it, and now is going to share that knowledge with all of you. That'll be later on in the show. We'll also talk TV talk. All the premieres are coming, including AMC's The Walking Dead, and Fringe, the final season. So we'll talk about that, what we're looking forward to, especially what new shows we're looking forward to. That'll be coming up later. And also a special guest for the book club, the author for my picks, actually, because it's 2 books. You'll hear from him later on in the show. So let's kick things off with something I've been looking forward to, as well as Louise, as you'll hear from her Geek Movie Rewind. That's Resident Evil Retribution, opens this weekend. I am a big fan of not only the video game, but also the Resident Evil movie series. I know they're not like the games, and that's why I like them, because if they were just like the games, frame for frame, or pixel for pixel, I guess you would say, I don't think I would like them, because I would know, and most of the gamers who've played the games countless hours, we would know exactly what's coming. There are some, as you all know, there are some surprises in the games. There are some twists, a lot of turns, and definitely a lot of jumps. That's why we all play them at 3 o'clock in the morning, right? With the lights off. But if the movies followed it exactly the same, then, it'd be boring. I probably wouldn't like the movie series. But I do like the way the movie series is going. It has enough nods in there that it is a Resident Evil movie, but it also has enough originality that it can stand on its own, and they do. And so really looking forward to that, and I'll grab the gang in just a few seconds and talk about the Resident Evil movie series. You can get your thoughts in Henry at thegeekspeakshow.com. So let me know you like him, you don't like him, why you like him, why you don't like him, what could be better, are you really looking forward to another one, which I hear could probably be the last one, but as we all know, if a franchise makes money, it's probably the last one with that cast and director, but the studio will keep it going, because ching, if you got a cash cow, don't make hamburgers out of it. So let's start things off before we have our discussion. Let's start things off with interviews sent from the studios to me so I can share with all of you. Interviews with the cast and crew. Specifically, we're going to hear from Paul W.S. Anderson, the director of the Resident Evil movie series, and this new one coming out, Resident Evil Retribution. Here he is talking about the new Resident Evil movie.
Paul, congrats. I thought this was a really good entry. I had a lot of fun with it, and it seemed like you were having a lot of fun behind the camera, mixing it up, especially with the introduction.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give it away, but just the title sequence and stuff like that. Were you having a lot more fun in this one than you might have in the previous entries?
I was working my ass off on this one. I mean, I enjoy making these movies, and I had a great cast to work with, and I loved Michelle coming back. I mean, it was really, Mila called it Camp Evil, because it felt like everyone was going to camp every day. Yeah. So there was a lot of fun involved in making the movie, but you've seen the film. I mean, it's an epic movie, and it was a complicated film to make. So it was a combination of having fun, but also it was probably the hardest work of any of the Resident Evil films.
Yeah. Talk about, you kind of reconceive a lot of things that we've seen for the first one, whether it was Rain or One or even the Red Queen. I mean, we haven't seen a lot of these characters in a while. So What was it like just kind of fine-tuning them for this new film?
It was a fantastic challenge and also a lot of fun to kind of like bring back characters especially from the first movie. And I felt as a franchise, I feel like the franchise is going kind of full circle and coming back around to that very first film. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of fun to feed in those characters. Yeah. And also I think structurally, the structure of this movie is a lot more like the first one. I think the first movie had a very interesting structure where you really didn't know what was going on for the first 20, 25 minutes of the film. And that was both a challenge for an audience, but also I think it intrigued people. Mm. And then the movies after that became more linear, more kind of straight ahead. And with this movie, I wanted to return to that kind of challenging structure. So, for the first 20 minutes in this movie, I think you can guess maybe what's going on, but it's not kind of laid out there for you.
Yeah, exactly. I remember when we were on set, we were all trying to figure out where all these neighborhood sequences were going to fall in. And we were like, oh, it's going to be a prequel, it's going to be this. But you definitely threw a lot of twists in there that I think the hardcore fans will dig. Talk about what is there left to do with the zombies of Resident Evil, the world of Resident Evil. I mean, like, we've seen them doing so much stuff, and in this one we see them riding motorcycles, shooting rocket launchers. So in the next film, when it really hits the fan, what's there left?
Well, the Capcom make it easy for me because every couple of years they introduce like a new video game. It has these new creatures. I think it's one of the things that's kept the video game franchise fresh, and the same for the movie franchise, is they try not to repeat themselves. The undead that we had in the first movie were like the undead from the first video game. Mm-hmm. They were slow, they were shambling, there was no intelligence. If you stood in the middle of Central Park, you were in no danger because you could see them coming and get away from them. Of course, they've evolved over the years. And they've become much more threatening, which I think ups the ante in every video game and in every movie we make. Nice. So I look forward to whatever Capcom's going to throw at me next. And it's always a challenge because you see these creatures and you're like, wow, that's intense. But now I'm going to have to do it live action. Because, of course, they can do whatever they want because it's all in a computer. Yeah. And as you know, we take great inspiration from some of the action scenes and the scare scenes in the video game. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we transpose them directly from the video game into the movies. But, what's easy in a computer is hard when you have to do it with flesh and blood, real human beings and real cars.
Yeah, exactly. Does Capcom keep tabs on how often you use that damn umbrella logo? It seems every single thing. There's umbrella everywhere.
I love the umbrella logo.
I know, I'm sure you do.
It's a class. I mean, it looks so good to put people against that logo and shoot them. And I think people love the Umbrella Corporation. Yeah. I mean, it's really funny. I mean, we have an Umbrella Corporation website, and it's so popular. Mm-hmm. I think people hope that it exists.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. I thought it was funny to open up a drawer and there's like umbrella logos all over everything that's in there.
It looks good.
Yeah. Well, good job, man. I really enjoyed it.
So that's director Paul W.S. Anderson. Now let's move over to Mrs. Paul W.S. Anderson. That's Mila Jovovich. Also the star of the Resident Evil movie series, plays Alice. Here she is talking about her role and maybe what's coming up in the next installment of the movie series.
I was telling Paul, this is a good one. I like this one.
Good.
Yeah, it's fun.
Okay.
I mean, you guys could tell you're having a great sense of fun because I think the environments are different. Do you feel like this one is a lot more action-packed than the previous ones? Because it seems like this one's a little bit more elaborate in the orchestration of the fights and stuff like that.
Oh, this is definitely the most action-packed so far. I mean, literally one of our smallest fights had over 100 choreographed moves. Yeah. So it was pretty intense. But, the one thing that I was really happy when Paul wrote the script was, we watch a lot of action films together and to see especially what not to do and sometimes, what we love and want to exemplify. But one thing that we were in agreement, we watched quite a few movies where there was a lot of great action, but you didn't really care because you had no empathy for the character who was in the midst of this danger. So I thought it was really great how Paul wrote the suburban Alice character with the child because suddenly it really brings it home to people. It becomes much more relatable and the stakes have risen now. And so you have a lot more empathy for Alice having to deal with protecting this child on top of everything else that's going on. So I thought that was great because suddenly now the action sequences become that much more powerful because you care about the people in them.
Yeah. there's a certain quality that is almost portraying Alice as some kind of, I don't know, wounded cowboy or wounded samurai in some respects. You have like this wound that you keep checking throughout the movie. Did that ever come into play where you're like, this could lead to your last battle? Or like you were saying, the stakes are much higher.
Oh, yeah. I mean, in this movie, Alice is almost at the end. I mean, she's one step away from above and beyond. That's for sure. Whatever's
there in the Resident Evil universe.
Exactly. I mean, this is the hardest one for her because, in this one, she is really willing to sacrifice everything to save this child, and it could very well be the end of her, especially the last fight sequence with Jill Valentine and Michelle Rodriguez. They're a hard bunch to win, It's hard when you're fighting Michelle. It's kind of scary.
But I wouldn't want to fight Michelle either. Did I detect a little bit more humor this time with Alice?
Definitely. I kind of went, when people live in traumatic situations for years and years, at some point it becomes normal, and so you start laughing at things that normal people would be horrified by, but it's the only way to keep your sanity. So yeah, in some sense, now she is kind of used to this world, and also, I mean, come on, the situations get kind of insane when she sees rain and a pair of stiletto heels. Like, what is that? Like, I mean, it's so wild, the whole thing. Like, where's Umbrella going now? I mean, it's confusing.
Yeah, I bet. Well, I got to wrap it up. But thank you very much for talking again.
Oh,
and I'm sure I'll see you on the set of the next one next year-ish. Let's come on. Give me a break.
Definitely not next year, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert!
Okay, you may have heard, or maybe you read somewhere. So, spoiler alert! There, I'm about to spoil something. Not plot point. It's just in case you want to go into this movie without knowing anything. Turn away right now. Ready? Okay. So in this movie, a lot of the old actors who have died return in this one. Biggest one, Michelle Rodriguez, and a lot of the ones from the first movie, and some of the ones from the sequels that followed who died in the movie, they're back for this one. How? Well, I won't get into that one, and then that's real spoiler territory, and you guys will hate me, and you'll start sending me emails to henry@thegeekspeakshow.com saying how you hate me and why I'm the worst thing you've ever heard, but then you come back the next week anyway and keep listening. But we don't want any of that, so I'll stop right here and just say there are some returning characters and actors from the previous sequels that come back in this one who had died, but apparently they're back now. One of them is right here. She seems to be making a career move out of this. Is Michelle Rodriguez is who I'm talking about. She's back in the Fast and the Furious. Oh, spoiler alert! Back in the Fast and the Furious franchise. She'll be back for Avatar, I think. And she's also back here for the Resident Evil movie series. So here she is talking about her return in Resident Evil Retribution.
Okay, so you get to play multiple Reigns in this movie. Now, I'm curious to see, as someone who's so experienced with gun training, was it harder for you to kind of digress and play someone who doesn't act like, oh, I know guns?
Definitely so. The innocent Rain was a lot tougher than the experienced, violent Rain that I'm so used to. I think it's the heels that really did it for me. I mean, I don't mind the Prius. I don't mind being vegan. I don't mind being a student. I don't mind being ignorant to guns. But the heels, running in heels really got me. I gotta say, man, there should be an extra training course for tomboys just for that.
I was gonna say, and you complain about that. Meanwhile, Mila is wearing full-on, like, S&M garb with these high heels built in.
I know, man, dude. I even had to mention it. Because it's just so out of the ordinary. But she looks good in it.
What was your reaction when Paul gave you the call and said, look, we want you coming back?
How the hell are you going to bring somebody back after they've been shot in the head? I did see the bullet actually exit the back and splatter against the wall behind me. With blood. How you going to take that back, huh? So please, explain. And when he did, I was like, oh, man, really? How come I didn't think of that? I should have known. That was so dumb of me not to ask.
What is the kind of the enduring quality of Resident Evil? Why these films are so successful?
I have a feeling it has to do with this kind of this slight death wish that humanity has for themselves. Any movie that involves humanity threatened in any way, shape, or form, is as incredulous as it may seem, even zombies, I think people will gravitate towards it. That and the fact that Paul has done a really amazing job at respecting the inception of the franchise in video game form. And he has, throughout the years, included major details of the actual video game and integrated into his imaginary world. Because Alice, is a new character. He introduced Alice into the film and a bunch of other characters that were never part of the video game. So to balance it out and pay respect to the inception of the video game and pay respect to where the idea of the film came from, he's done a really good job at maintaining the integrity of all of the the lickers, the zombies, the all the mutants and the genetic viruses and the all of that stuff. He pays good close attention to make sure he satisfies all the geeky fans who will demolish the franchise if it doesn't respect these things.
Fans are hardcore. The fans are hardcore.
They really are.
Well, did you keep up with the Resident Evil franchise?
Yes, yeah? I have. I've watched the evolution. And for me, I love how Paul has steered away slowly, very, very in a kind of growth range. He's kind of slowly steered away from just this sci-fi realm into kind of a more action vibe to it. I felt that more so in the Vegas, version of the Resident Evil film than any other. Mm-hmm. It's just the idea of bringing it to a realistic place. We're not in Raccoon City. We're not in this place that nobody knows about. We're actually in the demolished version of something everybody on this planet who knows about America can relate to, which is Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And then you get into this action movie where if I'm flipping through the channels, I could actually think this is an action movie. Yeah, some of these people are dressed weird, but I don't really expect a zombie to fly out at me in the middle of the sunlight. You know what I mean, kind of thing?
Yeah.
And that's cool. And then he's evolved it from there. And now, like, you're in Moscow, New York. So it's got that action movie quality to it that, I really do. I dislike, sci-fi films that stay blue. Mm-hmm. Or green, or black, the whole movie. I'm just like, honestly, man, can you please tantalize me? I'm like, I'm one of those girls who multitasks, when she watches a film. So if you're not tantalizing me with the visuals, you got to get me with the sound or the acting, something,
Well,
and I think it does a good mix.
I was going to say, how do you see, do you see Resident Evil Retribution still packing its, kind of horror roots and still being scary while balancing the action and sci-fi?
I think so, and it comes in those silent beats. The silent beats are always, I love Hitchcock for starting it off, but, that was what made the video game in and of itself, because, I played the video game, and it wasn't until I found out they were making a movie about it that I actually approached Paul to be in the movie, because I wanted to be a part of the franchise. That's what about the franchise, the video game actually really attracted me. And I think that there's enough of those beats. There's a couple of jump out of your seat 3D moments. Because, it gets really noisy and crazy, and you can't get scared when it's all really noisy and crazy. Mm-hmm. But there's some moments in there where it gets all quiet, and then all of a sudden you're like, holy snap!
Yeah, some good
And that's so important when you have a franchise like this, to have those moments.
Exactly. Well, great. It was good to see you again. Thank you so much. It was fun watching the movie again. It was fun. It was cool. Yeah, you did a good job.
So there you go, the cast and crew of Resident Evil Retribution. Thanks again to Sony Pictures for sending me those interviews to share with all of you. Heard from director Paul W.S. Anderson, stars Mila Jovovich and Michelle Rodriguez. Yes, she is back, as well as other actors who apparently died in the sequels, but they're back now. How do they come back? Well, I know. Some of you may know, but zip it up. Keep it zipped up. No spoilers. Because the movie's coming out in just a couple of days, or it's out now if you're listening to this on the weekend. So go out there and find out for yourself how these actors return. But, then again, it's the Umbrella Corporation. They can pretty much do whatever they want, right? So let me take a break. I see that Jay Gibbs just finished her comics commentary. Let me have her jump into this conversation we're going to have next. Let's listen to Louise Ducray's Geek Movie Rewind, very apropos to what we've been talking about here and what we're about to start talking about. That is the Resident Evil movie series. So stay right there. We'll talk Resident Evil. The Geek Speak Show will be right back. Geek Movie Rewind. Geek Movie Rewind. The movies that made you a geek. Except for the part where you didn't see them. Here's the Geek Speak Show's resident movie geek, Louise Ducray.
Hi guys, Louise here with a quick drive-by movie rewind for you because Resident Evil Retribution is coming out this week and I am really stoked. So I just wanted to pop up and explain to you just how rad the Resident Evil movies are and how much you probably need to watch them if you've never gotten around to it. Now, an important note. I love action movies. Big dumb ones, indie British ones, the classy cerebral ones that try and make you think. Pretty much anything that makes me go, oh my god, awesome! I'm down for. That doesn't mean I'm easy to please. I can't really explain to you what makes one big dumb action movie awesome. The Fast and the Furious, well, the ones with Vin Diesel anyway. And another one, stupid. Transformers, or worse, Battleship. Just awesome is awesome. It's like with art. I can't explain to you what it is, but I know it when I see it. And the Resident Evil movies are awesome. This franchise is one of the few that I've ever gotten into based on convention panels alone. Every few years, I seem to find myself in a panel for a new Resident Evil installment while waiting for something else. And they started to grow on me. The action looked pretty choice. I enjoyed the banter between Mila Jovovich and her writer-producer husband, Paul W.S. Anderson. And everybody always seemed to be genuinely into the project they were promoting, which, if you've ever been to a media convention, you know how you can sort of tell when it's forced, like, oh yes, I was so lucky, the cast was like a family, oh. Anyway, after the panel for Resident Evil at this year's WonderCon in Anaheim, I decided it was time to check them out. And I burned through them, and now they're some of my favorite popcorn movies and definitely my favorite films based on a video game. The basic concept, in case you're unaware, is that a woman named Alice wakes up with no memory at the beginning of the first film, and then blah 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 blah, zombie monster killing mayhem ensues. Alice is played by the Fifth Element's Mila Jovovich, who is practically perfect in every way, and a hardcore badass, obviously. Alice is an original character created for the movies, but if you played any of the games, you basically know what to expect, and if you haven't, you'll have no problem following along. The first film, released a decade ago and aptly titled Resident Evil, is darker and moodier. It's more of a straight-up horror film than the other three, I think, so if that's your thing, you'll probably dig it. The films get more epic as they go on, and they do go on and on. Did I mention film number 5 is coming out on Friday? The second film, Resident Evil Apocalypse, came out in 2004, Extinction in 2007, and the most recent film, Resident Evil Afterlife, in 2010. Anyway, I'll make this part quick because I don't want to spoil anything for you, but out of all 4 currently released films, I'd probably rate them in descending order of awesomeness: Afterlife, Apocalypse, the first film, then Extinction last. It's a toss-up between the second and fourth films for the number 1 spot, because the supporting cast in Afterlife is really great, and it's got some really amazing moments, and the action set piece at the end is crazy pants phenomenal, but the second one has Alice taking a flying jump through a church window on a motorcycle, and Sienna Guillory as Jill Valentine. The third one is the one that takes place in the desert, and there's birds and meh. But Ali Larter, though. Even the worst film in this franchise totally has its saving graces. Now, in addition to fulfilling my awesomeness quota and my action bloodlust, the Resident Evil movies please my inner feminist. There's this concept I've seen floating around online called the Bechdel test. A movie passes if it meets the requirements of featuring at least 2 female named characters who actually speak to each other and about something other than a man. I was actually alarmed at how many of my favorite films don't meet this basic criteria, but Resident Evil passes with flying colors, as does Alien, Whip It, Charlie's Angels, and Death Proof. Granted, the ladies in Resident Evil mainly discuss the mortal peril they're in and how to get out of it alive, but there are a lot of them, and none of them are token anything, and they're for the most part strong and independent. And it's not just played for sexy times, and it's not at the expense of the men either. It's egalitarian and all that noise. That the women have a voice and a say in everything and are the primary driving force in the story. And actually, it's sad that that's so notable, but there you are. Speaking of sexy, I do kind of enjoy the way they come up with flimsy excuses for why Alice and Jill are dressed the way they are. Seriously, it tickles me. Like, they could have just had Mila Jovovich in a red cocktail dress and black boots and moved on. Most action movies wouldn't even explain it, but no, it's made clear why that outfit is there. Jill Valentine? She just came from clubbing. She's in that blue bustier because reasons. I don't know. It's silly, but I kind of love it. So anyway, for the Geek Speak Show, I'm Louise Cray. You can reach me at louise@thegeekspeakshow.com. And if you like to watch attractive people slaughter zombies in various spectacular ways, I'd say give the Resident Evil saga a whirl. The 5th installment, Resident Evil Retribution, hits theaters this Friday, September 14th. This Geek Speak Movie Rewind was in no way sponsored by Capcom, Screen Gems, or Sony Pictures Entertainment, though if they would like to give me free stuff and send me to lunch with Mila Jovovich, I am completely for sale. Not even kidding. Have a good week.
That's the Geek Movie Rewind. Agree? Disagree? Send your comments or suggestions to Louise at thegeekspeakshow.com.
Hey, this is Todd McFarlane, creator of Spawn, and one of the original founders of Image Comics, and you're listening to Geek Speak Show. Thanks for coming.
And staying and coming and going. Here we're back on the Geek Speak Show, so we're talking the Resident Evil movie series, and the whole gang's here. Rachel is here. Jay Gibbs is here.
Hi, everybody.
Just finished our comics commentary. We'll hear that in just a second. Joel is here. And I also found special guest NGS, Neo Game Spark. Hey, Neo.
Chris is not here right now. He is currently fighting crime as Nightwing.
Yes, he is Nightwing. He's Nightwing. So we're gonna talk about his feature. He's got a cool little thing coming up soon. But we're gonna talk about one of his favorite movie series ever. Not Harry Potter. Resident Evil. Your favoritist ever, right?
Oh yeah, man! It just, oh god, where to begin with showing my love and my admiration for these movies? Paul Anderson is he's the Messiah. It's like he was born to make my life so much better.
He taught Christopher Nolan how to do it.
Oh, he taught you know what? Screw Nolan and those Batman movies. Nolan better take some hints from Paul.
This
Anderson.
is where he got his notes from.
Scorsese, Lucas, Spielberg, all them guys, they pale in comparison. Mark Webb, who are you? Who are you, Mark Webb? It's all about Paul Anderson up in here.
That thing in his mouth, that's his tongue. It's on his cheek also. Neo, I think, is going to be the only one here that doesn't like the Resident Evil movie series. I do. Like I said, I like both the game and the movie series. Don't love it, not my favorite, but I love what they are, which is just fun movies. They're not like the game. You and I talked about that, Chris. And that's the reason why I like it. Because if it was just like the game, then I don't think I would like it. Because we've all played the game all hours of the night. If it followed it pixel by pixel, like I said, then there'd be nothing, no surprises, no
there'd
jump,
be no point.
Nothing. This one can stand alone. Yes, it's got enough Resident Evil nods to the game to make it a Resident Evil thing. But you've said that the reason why you don't like it is because it's not like the game, right?
Yes, that's the thing. I see, when it comes to adaptations, I've seen this a lot, particularly since, comic books are the huge things to become to movies nowadays. Excuse me?
Tomb Raider.
Okay, but in particular, there's always the camp that wants things to be 100% like the source material, and the camp that doesn't want it to be like the source material. Now, when it comes to me, I'm one of those people who favor it to be more like the source material, but not adapted in a way that's literally pixel by pixel, panel by panel. I'm sure all of you have seen Watchmen, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Right.
What? Favorite movie ever.
Watchmen? Why would I watch Men?
Do you watch The Men, though?
Oh.
Who watches The Watchmen?
We're in San Francisco, after all. But yeah, go ahead.
Watchmen was an example of a literally page-for-page adaptation, and they didn't...
No. No, it was not.
Didn't let me finish. You didn't let me finish.
All right. I'm sorry. You go ahead.
Especially something to deal with a squid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, which I was going to go there before I was rudely interrupted.
I'm so sorry.
You hurt my feelings so much. Actually, now I want to talk about Watchmen.
I can do that. For the rest of the
Watchmen.
show.
This whole podcast is a lie. It's a trap just to talk about Watchmen for 3 hours.
Yay!
Admiral Akbar told us so.
That's
okay,
true.
but
I do agree with you, Chris, though, as far as I like things to be very close to the original as well, but you do have to change up some things either for the sake of getting more people to like it or the sake of adding more story or whatever. But I do like them to stay very true to what the original story was.
Yes, that is true. It's like how I go about it. It's like you can either adapt the spirit of the comic book or the source. By the source, I mean literally a page for page, or by the spirit, you take the best of everything, like the best of the characters, who they are, and the adaptation. That's exactly how I see the Marvel Cinematic movies as of late. You know, they are literally not page for page adaptations, but everything you love about them, the characters, the situations, everything, it feels like, you know, their respected series. You know, same thing for the Nolan movies, same thing for Mark Webb's Amazing Spider-Man. Now, the problem that I have with the Resident Evil movies, however, is that they started out sort of as, you know, like Henry said, it was something more of a side thing where, you know, it didn't follow the games too closely, but it could be a great side story that they could go and expand and do their own thing while still, you know, bearing the name Resident Evil.
Right.
Well, let me ask you that, though. What is the spirit of Resident Evil? The game.
Spirit of Resident, like
spooky fun. I would describe it as spooky fun. It's not. It doesn't take itself 100% seriously, but it's still a zombie story. You're still dealing with monsters and suspense and things that creep up on you in the dark in the city.
And there's some cool Matrix effects too.
Yeah, it almost has a little bit of like a fantasy feel to it because of that Matrix effect, and because, you know, she just engulfs everything that's around her and turns it into, I can control this, or I can't.
Well,
Thank you.
Wait, before that, I'm talking about the game. I mean, does the movie capture the spirit of the game?
Well, I think that's what we're all agreeing on.
I mean, there's some zombies in there.
It just misses the spirit of the game.
It misses it, like, by spirit. Henry, I was speaking in regards to, like, the characters in the world and the mythos. Like, if they can nail all of those things down and have them in the movie exactly as they were, it doesn't have to be a page-for-page adaptation, you know? So I think I'm going to finish up my little saying on Resident Evil, and then I'll let you guys finish it up. But the first movie, like I said, it wasn't the best thing out there, but I liked it for what it was. It was enjoyable, and if they were going around along the route of a side series, then I'd say, you know what, this technically could be, you know, something I could watch as well as call it Resident Evil. However, as time went along, instead of trying to make it as a side story, Paul Anderson literally, I don't know what he did. Maybe he just went to the Wikipedia and said, hey, you know, that looks cool. Let's add this in here and add that in there for no apparent reason whatsoever. So you have characters who are thrown in there with no motive, no reason behind their existence. And one of the things that really irked me was that certain characters from the video games, very iconic ones, they went so far as to find like really good lookalikes. First one that comes to my head would be, I believe, is it Jill? I forgot which exam. I don't even remember. But it was. I know in Resident Evil 2, the movie, was that Apocalypse?
That was Jill Valentine.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jill Valentine. And there was a certain scene that existed in Code Veronica X, where she was running across the building and the helicopter was shooting at her. And that was in the movie. Yeah. And it was adapted literally frame for frame. However, they gave that role to Alice.
Right.
You know, I'm just, there's like, they put all of these characters in there.
It's actually, in the game, it was Claire.
Oh, it was Claire? Oh,
yeah.
See, my entire Resident Evil-ness is out of it right now. I don't even remember much.
The games, I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. But, you know, it's fact that if you're going to include very iconic things from the source material and not even use them properly by giving them to another character, you're essentially making the character that you went so far to include useless.
Yes, I agree. That really bothers me too.
That's Chris NGS's point. You said you were going to take off for a little bit. Before you do, however, let's tell everybody what you are going to do. We're going to hear you on a regular, semi-regular basis on the Geek Speak show now. What exactly are you going to talk about? Finally, I should add.
Mainly, when it comes to my part on the show, of course, I'm going to be covering the video game portion because I noticed that there really wasn't too much of an emphasis on it here. I mean, you guys talked about a lot of the great stuff, but there really wasn't anything on video games. Can I ask? I don't know if this is kind of too out of it, but yeah, what's the deal with that?
But really, that's the reason why. Is we never really found the right person to do this until now.
I like Grand Theft Auto.
Who doesn't love Grand Theft Auto?
Thank you.
Yeah, but
I like Burnout.
I'm so sleepy because I was up playing Grand Theft Auto last night.
But let's do a drum roll here because I haven't even heard this yet. What do you want to call? You came up with a name for it. What do you want to call your feature?
The name. of the show will remain a mystery for now until I reveal to you what I plan to do. So on the show,
I would say, obviously not today, but we're going to debut it, if we can, on next week's show.
Oh, okay. So in particular, I would be speaking mainly on some of the biggest releases that are coming out, as well as the biggest news stories that are happening, as well as having a little opinionated corner on certain things pertaining to the industry and how it's going, and what I would do if I were, in the position of a company to better them. And the final piece about that, I would give a little, I'd say a little spotlight on things that you should definitely be checking out that you may have missed over the course of the generation, like hidden gems, like really niche titles that I think if you liked this certain franchise, you would enjoy. And I guess for now, that is really what I came up with, that what I would like to do on the feature show, Thinking about Bob.
Yeah, so we'll remain unnamed until he reveals it next week. So look for it next week. He will talk video games and everything else having to do with video games. You can also catch him on his YouTube channel. How often do you update that? Is because I see it like every couple days, I think, is when I go up there.
Yeah. Like, I just started up my third semester of college, so things are kind of slow, but I usually update. I do videos every couple of days, at least 1 or 2 a week. I also regularly post on social media websites, Facebook and Twitter, facebook.com/NeoGameSpark, twitter.com/NeoGameSpark. So, I'm always active on the internet, and I'm not like away for 3 weeks at a time unless something happens, obviously.
Yeah, so Neo GameSpark, NGS, Chris, whatever you want to call him, we can call him ours now. He's part of the Geek Speak show. Welcome aboard. You'll also see him with Rachel covering New York Comic Con next month, so be on the lookout for that video interviews from the Marvel people and whoever else is going to be there. So, NGS, those are his thoughts on the Resident Evil movie series. We'll give ours in a little bit. So, thanks for coming on, and we will talk to you and hear from you next week.
Welcome to the show, man.
Welcome. Good to have you.
Thank you. And even though that was my only thoughts on the Resident Evil movies, I have a lot more to say. But I'm going to keep calm for now. I'm going to back up, let you guys do your thing.
Down, boy.
Don't worry. We'll give you plenty of chances.
Yes, that I look forward to that. I'll hold you to that.
So that's Chris, NGS, Neo GameSpark, whatever you want to call him. Like I said, you can call him ours. He's the newest member of the Geek Speak show. We'll be talking video games. We'll debut that sometime next week, so be listening for that. Those are our thoughts on the Resident Evil movie franchise. Like I said, I like it. Chris is the only one who seems to not really be too thrilled about it. Starting back in 2002 when the first Resident Evil came out, I like that one. Apocalypse, not so much. Extinction was okay. Afterlife got a little better. Retribution, I hear, is one of the most action-packed ones. Haven't seen it yet as we record this. Coming out this Friday again, Resident Evil Retribution in 3D, of course. So those are our thoughts on the Resident Evil movie series. I liked it. Joel pretty much likes it. Jay could go either way. Rachel likes it. Neo, well, not so much. So there you go.
It's time for the Geek Speak Show Book Club. Our books or graphic novels. Tell us what your favorites are. Books at thegeekspeakshow.com.
So it's time for the Geek Speak Show Book Club, but little note, I was going to have author Lev Grossman, who was the author of my two picks, The Magicians and The Magician King, but he's going through a personal emergency, nothing bad, personal emergency he has to be at, so we'll reschedule. Maybe he'll be on next week or some other time, but pretty soon you're going to hear Lev Grossman on the book club section. The Magicians, The Magician King, those are his two books. I'm actually in the middle of reading The Magician King. This is the first time that I actually have a book that I haven't finished reading. There's just a lot of stuff going on, so that's why, when Lev told me what's going on, I said, that's okay, because I sympathize. I know exactly what that feels like, been going through a few things myself. So that's why for this week, I won't have a pick for the book club.
I'll remember that.
Yeah, what? Have ugly stuff like what's been happening in my personal life happen in yours? You don't want that, trust me.
No, I said I'll remember that you didn't finish reading this one.
Yeah, all the stuff that's happened in my life, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, except the Chicago Bears. But that's a whole other thing. So go ahead, you guys pick give us your picks for your books.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to Star Wars this week, of course, seeing how I'm still in celebration mode.
Wait, isn't this the point where I'm supposed to yell?
Yes, you can sing in the background.
I've never yelled at you.
No, that's Star Trek. I'm sorry.
So I'm going to choose this week Star Wars Complete Locations. And this is the version of that inside the worlds of the entire Star Wars saga. And I picked it kind of because we were talking last week about the artsy stuff with our guest that was on and just all the stuff that's been happening. And I like this one because you have different styles from each of the worlds. So you have screenshots from the movies, you have concept art, you have like cross sections where you can see inside of different parts of everything. So you have all these different versions of these locations. And so for an artist or even just for, a fanboy, it allows you to see things from different points of view and different angles and stuff that you wouldn't have normally been able to. And it's really inspiring. It has got a lot of cool stuff in it that you wouldn't see any other way. And so if you're going to look at something for environments or locations, I definitely like this one. And this one's by Kristen Lund. So again, it's the Star Wars Complete Locations, but it's the one called Inside the Worlds of the entire Star Wars saga. And it's awesome. I love it.
Next.
My choice for the book club is Tim Hamilton's authorized adaptation of Ray Bradbury's famous novel Fahrenheit 451. And I choose this, because it's back to school. And so if you're like me, when I was in high school, I thought the story was kind of neat, but the book was kind of long and boring. So when I heard that there was a graphic novel, this is actually recently when I heard about it, but then when I did read it, I went to the library, I saw it, I was like, hey, I remember this. I went over it, read it, and I think Tim Hamilton does a pretty good job at visualizing Ray Bradbury's story about a world that burns books because reading is illegal and forbidden. And the artwork is kind of cool. The artwork is very mundane and simple, but I think it does justice to the world where people aren't allowed to think freely and ask questions and find answers. And Guy Montag he's always been one of my favorite characters, and to see him drawn out and to see like his world with this, huge TVs and those crazy mean firefighters is pretty trippy. And other characters are always good to see, and he does a pretty good job of making like a very fluid storyboard that it makes like the comic version of it seem very, very likable and very easy to read and fun to read. And yeah, Tim Hamilton's Fahrenheit 451 based on.
So is this like an abridged version, or does it include everything?
I think it includes everything. I mean, like there's not like all that narration. I mean, there's a little bit of it, but most of it's just dialogue. You see a lot of action. A lot of it's cool just to see like the drawn out version of it, and yeah.
See, so Joel's a perfect example of why graphic novels are now included in schools and in libraries, because it makes kids read the classics.
Yeah.
If it's in graphic novel form.
It worked for me.
Jay Gibbs, what do you have?
I have the premiere novel by Chuck Palahniuk. If you all know it at home, say it with me. The first rule of Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club. That's right.
I don't talk about it.
So I'm about to break the first rule of Fight Club, because this is one of my favorite novels of all time. It's not as genre specific. Chuck Palahniuk does have other stories, like Lullaby is the most prominent one that deals with the supernatural, but he always introduces these psychological elements of maybe magic, maybe mundane. Maybe the narrator and Tyler Durden are two separate people that inhabit the same body, which is something that he touches on again when he writes Lullaby. Or maybe they're a split personality disorder of the same individual, or maybe they're entirely separate entities. Maybe Tyler Durden is the devil, the chaos that lives inside of everyone. Maybe he is this thing that possesses us to do our own will, even if it's against our better interest. And it's beautifully written. It's different enough from the film with Brad Pitt and Ed Norton that you can watch the film hundreds of times, which I have done, and still read the book and discover completely new things. I have the 10th anniversary edition of the book that has a new introduction by the author, and it really sheds new light on the characters, on the story, on the state of mind of someone that it takes to make this great creative work. And the book is a little bit simpler and a lot more homoerotic, if you're into that kind of thing. But it also has a longer ending. It doesn't just end. There's a little epilogue chapter, and it literally makes me cry at the end every single time because it's beautiful and it's simple, and there's so much love and personality that went into making it. So, Fight Club, Chuck Palahniuk. Which is the mark of any good story. Absolutely. Movie,
book, anything. If it touches you emotionally, mission accomplished.
And it touches me in a bad place, like the creepy uncle at a family reunion.
Okay, thanks for that visual, but...
More.
So there's our picks for the book club. Again, you can find them all in the book club section on our webpage where you're listening to the podcast. Just click on the book club section. It'll all be there so you can get it yourself or borrow from your library, whatever it is. Go read these books. Now let's take a little break again, and going to introduce you to another one. Joel was just talking over the last break about why can't we include wrestling? Well, we can't include wrestling, but we will include football because not real football, fantasy football. Because we've always said it is a lot like the D&D stuff. It's all stats and
we're putting the fantasy back in fantasy football.
There's no D20 that you roll, but close enough.
Go Niners.
Yeah, where are they going?
To back home.
Okay, so we'll do that. Here's our fantasy stuff. If you're into that, if you're not, grab somebody who is. Grab your uncle, your cousin, whoever. Listen to the fantasy stuff, and we will be right back and talk TV.
That's the Geek Speak Show Book Club. Tell us what your favorite books or graphic novels are. Books at thegeekspeakshow.com. Geeking out over America's pastime. No, not baseball. The National Football League. Gridiron Fantasy Geek with Kyle Medina on the Geek Speak Show.
I told you we would have fantasy football. 3 years late, but it's here. So producer Kyle used to be our old producer. He's here. Give me that hat. You gotta wash this thing every now and then. Or maybe it's just yourself you gotta wash every now and then. So producer Kyle is trading hats. He's trading his producer hat in for a feature voice hat. I guess that's the way you say it. Kyle, you are now officially the Gridiron Fantasy Geek.
Perfect. I like that a little bit more than producer Kyle. But
he doesn't even know who the hell played Spider-Man. He was asking me before the show, who's that guy that played Spider-Man?
I didn't even know who Spider-Man was. But
Get off my show.
But that's why I'm here for fantasy football. Week 1 is in the books, but that still doesn't change who I liked for each division winner.
Well, wait a second before you do that. Let's explain. It's kind of like gambling, right?
A little bit, yeah.
See, the reason why we're doing fantasy football is because everywhere I go, I've gotten emails since you started this thing, since we were a live show. I've gotten emails from all of you guys. When I meet you guys at the conventions or out and about, you always the question always comes up, especially now that it is finally football season. Now I have a sport to watch on TV. Why don't you guys do fantasy football? Because I've been to some football games, real live football games. It's dumb. Quite honestly. Even at Lambeau, it was kind of dumb because I'm worried about, at the time I was living in Green Bay, Wisconsin, there was an old guy playing football there, was playing quarterback and supposed to be good or something. But I was busy watching him. People around me on their phones, how many yards did he throw to? My running back. Really? There's stuff going on the field. You don't care about that?
That's exactly why I don't like going to football games. Not because I don't like seeing the people around me, because I can't keep up with all the other players in the league.
You don't like people either.
Yeah, well, that's a little bit. But yeah, football, yeah, there can be money involved if you choose to, but it's certainly free. I mean, I do all mine free, and there's multiple kinds. There's a kind where you could pick your players. That's probably the most popular. There's a kind where you could just pick the teams, and I also like to do that. And there's also pools, which are a little bit different. Those are all different based off...
You dive into those, right? And you got to swim?
A little bit, yeah. Not this kind. Those are the ones with the numbers. But either way, those are a little bit different. Those are more like for playoffs. What we're getting into are your fantasy... Playoffs? Practice. Yeah, either way. We're going into fantasy where you're obviously picking players. That's why it's the fantasy. And for the teams this year...
Really, it's for people who like you, who when you go out on the real field and I throw you the football, you duck.
I don't duck. I still catch it. I run out of bounds, but I catch it.
Yeah, and I've always said this is a lot like, and when Ethan Gilsdorf was on with us way back 3 years ago, fantasy football is a lot like the old D&D, where you don't create the characters already there. It's the players. The campaign is the season, the 2012 season for the team. The treasure at the end is the Lombardi Trophy. Everybody wants that, of course. The XP and your hit points and all that is the yards you run for, the how many yards you catch. You guys count yaks and all that stuff? This is the yard after catch. Yeah, I know football too. Well, there's some people out there who may not. Some people that are probably just tuned away already because they don't even know what the hell we're talking about. But they're probably sitting there, hey, how come you guys aren't talking about Spider-Man?
That pretty much sounds equivalent to that game you're talking about in fantasy football. It's about equivalent, and that sounds about right. But I want to give you my division winners for the AFC and the NFC. We'll start with the AFC East. We'll start with the East, of course, the Patriots. How can you go against the Patriots? I thought
the Dolphins would do something.
The Dolphins, that was a great game they put up in week 1. I like the Patriots.
Well, I meant the Dolphins at SeaWorld. Not,
of course, those ones. Those are a little bit more entertaining. But I like the Patriots in the East. In the West, I like the Broncos. Peyton Manning's back. They looked really good. I like the Broncos in the West. Sorry, Raiders fans. In the North, I like the Ravens. I almost got my North and South mixed up. And the South, I like the Texans. And for the Super Bowl out of the AFC, the Texans. I know they have big hopes to make it there, but I think last year was a big move, making it to the playoffs, getting out of the first round. This year, I think they're going to the Super Bowl. NFC, I like the Packers out of the North. East, I like the Eagles. It was an ugly win, but I like the Eagles in the East. The West, the Niners, of course. And in the South, my, I guess you'd say, sleeper pick, if you will. I like the Falcons not only to win the South, but to make it to the Super Bowl. And I think they're going to have a pretty good chance winning it because their division's so weak. I think they're going to cakewalk into the playoffs and have a good chance to win it this year.
That's who you're picking to win it all?
You're shaking your head, and I'm guessing what you like, the Packers?
Packers, of course. I just cut myself. Didn't you see that? And bleeding green and gold?
You like the Packers, I like the Falcons. Agree to disagree. Either way, those are the teams I like, and that was this week's fantasy report.
That's it?
That's it. You want more?
You're not going to give us what players we should pick for next week?
Oh, I could. I certainly could, but...
Why don't you then?
Well, then that's what I'll do.
Because see, before we do that, however, like I said, this is kind of like gambling. So if you pick these players that Kyle goes with and you lose the whole your car, a ton of money, whatever, don't come and shoot Kyle. It's your fault. This is what Kyle thinks. Doesn't mean he knows everything. That's why it's called fantasy. Having said that, go ahead. What are your picks?
This week, coming off a rough week 1, I do like Mike Vick. I would say go with. I mean, these are kind of obvious, but you know, I'm hesitant with going with the former MVP in Aaron Rodgers. They're going against the Bears, and as bad as the Bears may be, they hate the Packers. I would go with Vick as a
Packers hate them more.
I would go with Vick as a top performing quarterback in week 2. Running back, look out for Chris Johnson. I think he's going to bounce back. Ugly week 1, but I still expect bigger things for him this entire season. I would look out for, I'm not saying it's a good thing, but look out for Adrian Peterson. I thought that was a shocker. 2 touchdowns, a decent amount of yards running, and he wasn't even supposed to play. And that was a little eye-opening. I don't know. Keep an eye out for him. And receivers, Eric Decker. Look out for Eric Decker. Manning's looking strong. Each week, that team's only going to get stronger. And the more touchdowns he throws, the more chance Decker has to score. And those are the 3 top players for each position that I like.
That's it?
That's it.
What about defense?
Defense. Of course. There's
my favorite.
Your favorite. Well, I'm going to go ahead and guess you still like, Green Bay?
No.
You don't like Green Bay?
I haven't liked their defense even winning the Super Bowl year.
I like the Texans defense. That's the defense I have. Texans and or the Ravens defense. They're strong. They have good special teams. Those are the defenses I like.
See, if I played this stuff, which I don't, but if I played this, I would have stayed with the best defense in the NFL, the 49ers.
You like the 49ers. That is true. You get points based off how many points you don't allow. Niners don't allow many, but you also have to consider special teams gets you points, kickoff returns get you points, and
you fantasy people need to realize they're not related at all. Special teams and defense.
So then what should it be called then?
Special teams, what it is.
Special teams defense then. That's what it is.
All right, so there you go. Kylie Medina, your Gridiron Fantasy Football Geek. Again, if you go with these picks that he gave you and you lose your house, your everything, like that song goes, it ain't my fault.
Check this out. New Comics Checklist on the Geek Speak Show. Here's the New Comics Checklist for Wednesday, September 12th. Sponsored this week by Coastside Comics in Pacifica, California. You can visit them at coastsidecomics.com on the web or call them 650-359-1127. Here are the restocks this week at Coastside Comics. Action Comics number 1, 5th printing. Action Comics number 2. Action Comics number 3. Action Comics number 4. Action Comics number 5. Action Comics number 6 combo pack. Action Comics number 7. Action Comics number 8. Action Comics number 9. Action Comics number 10. Action Comics number 11. Action Comics number 12. Captain Marvel number 3. Gambit number 2. Green Lantern number 1, 2nd printing. Green Lantern number 10. Green Lantern number 2. Green Lantern number 3. Green Lantern number 5. Green Lantern number 7. Green Lantern number 8. Green Lantern number 9. Green Lantern Corps number 6. Harbinger number 1. Harbinger number 2. Harbinger number 3. All of those, of course, with variant covers. Lady Mechanica number 0. Lady Mechanica number 1. Lady Mechanica number 2. Again, all 3 with variant covers. Ultimate Comics X-Men number 14. Those, again, the restocks at Coastside Comics for this week. New comics this week at Coastside Comics include Action Comics number 0, Age of Apocalypse number 7, Amazing Spider-Man number 693, Animal Man number 0, Archer and Armstrong number 2, Army of Darkness ongoing number 5, Avengers Academy number 36, Back issue number 59, Back issue number 60, Batman Earth 1 hardcover, which I suggest you do get, Batwing number 0, Before Watchmen Silk Spectre number 3, Black Kiss 2 number 2, Bleeding Cool magazine, Bloodshot number 3, Bloodstrike number 30, Boys number 70, Cape 1969 number 3, Charmed number 23, Classic Popeye ongoing number 2, Crow number 3, Damsels number 1, Dan the Unharmable number 5, Dark Avengers number 180, Deadpool number 60, Deadpool symbol Peter Keyring, Defenders number 10, Detective Comics number 0, Dial H number 0, Earth 2 number 0, Epic Kill number 5, Executive Assistant Assassins number 3, Ferris number 7, Fashion Beast number 1, Fathom Volume 4 number 7, First X-Men number 2, Flash Gordon Zeitgeist number 7, Garfield number 5, Garth Ennis Jennifer Blood number 16, Myths and Legends number 20, G.I. Combat number 0, G.I. Joe Volume 2 ongoing number 17, Green Arrow number 0, Green Lantern number 0, Grimm Fairy Tales number 77, Guarding the Globe number 1, Harvest number 2, Hawkeye number 2, Hell Yeah number 5, Hypernaturals number 3, Invincible Iron Man number 524, Irresistible number 2 of 4, Judge Dredd Khaki T-shirt, Lady Death ongoing number 21, Lady Death number 21, Lady Death number 21, all of those variant covers. Last Zombie Before the After number 1, Love and Capes What to Expect number 2, Manhattan Projects trade paperback volume 1, Science Bad, Mighty Thor number 19, Mind the Gap number 4, Muppets number 3, Near Death number 11, New Crusaders Rise of the Heroes number 1, Night Force number 7, Normandy graphic adaptation D-Day trade paperback, Peter Cannon Thunderbolt number 1, Phantom Stranger number 0, Planet of the Apes Cataclysm number 1, Prince of Cats trade paperback, Punisher number 15, Road to Oz number 1, Savage Dragon number 181, Scooby-Doo Where Are You number 25, Smallville season 11 number 5, Spawn number 223, Star Trek Magazine number 41, Star Wars Insider number 136, Stormwatch number 0, Swamp Thing number 0, Sweet Tooth number 37, Thanos Quest number 1, The Lone Ranger number 9, Thief of Thieves number 8, Think Tank number 2, TMNT Micro Series number 8, Transformers Regeneration 1 number 83,
Transformers Robots in Disguise ongoing, number 9. True Blood ongoing, number 4. Ultimate Comics Spider-Man, number 14. Vampirella, number 22. Venom, number 24. The Walking Dead, number 100, second printing. Walking Dead, trade paperback, volume 1, Days Gone By. Walking Dead, trade paperback, volume 3, Safety Behind Bars. The Walking Dead, trade paperback, volume 4, Heart's Desire. The Walking Dead, number 100, second printing. The Walking Dead, trade paperback, volume 1, Days Gone By. The Walking Dead, trade paperback, volume 3, Safety Behind Bars. The Walking Dead, trade paperback, volume 4, Heart's Desire. Wonderland, number 2. World of Archie Double Digest, number 21. World's Finest, number 0. X Factor, number 243. Again, those are the new comics this week at Coastside Comics in Pacifica. You can visit them at coastsidecomics.com on the web or give them a call, 650-359-1127, and tell Romy that the Geek Speak Show sent you.
This is the Geek Speak Show.
Please make a note of it.
But I think you knew that already. Welcome back to the Geek Speak Show. So that is our fantasy football stuff. The Niners are going home. The Packers will probably be right behind them. And the Bears still suck. So we are going to talk TV because everything premieres here in September. One of them, it was kind of fighting with our show, Jay, Fringe, last Friday. And it's gone for now. But it is coming back Friday, September 28th. Fringe and Grimm back head to head. See, now I'm gonna have to feel. See, for a while there was like 4 episodes of Grimm, the new season of Grimm that came out. I wasn't feeling guilty when I watched it because I wasn't, not watching Fringe live. Now I have to decide Grimm or Fringe, but really it's the last season. So if I DVR Fringe, it doesn't really matter. But I do want to see it live because it's the final season. But Grimm it is back. It's on a little break right now. We'll be back again the same night that Fringe returns. So will a lot of other new shows and returning shows, including, as I always say it here, AMC's The Walking Dead.
Woohoo!
October 14th for season, what is this, 3 now?
I like the way you said that.
It's season 3 is about to start. Season 4 came out the same day as Fringe on DVD. Sorry, not season 4.
It's been on forever.
Season 2 came out a couple of weeks ago for The Walking Dead, and I just got it. And like I said, I get everything on DVD, and I wait for it because I hate commercials. So I am a season behind. So if you guys want to go on our Facebook pages or our main website or anything like that, or email any of us with your opinions and reviews of shows, please, for my sake, keep it spoiler free, because I'm crazy when it comes to spoilers. I don't want any of that. No, Joel, I will get the stick.
Don't tell her about death.
I'm going to ruin your life.
Flavored death. So, let's start with the returning shows. Which returning shows are you guys both, and Rachel, looking forward to?
Walking Dead, dude.
Walking Dead, hands down. I'm watching the second season on DVD every night now.
I'm just so happy that they're finally leaving the barn.
Well, yeah, they can't go back.
I just said no spoilers.
You don't miss anything. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't tell that the barn burned down or anything.
Yeah.
What?
Oh.
I don't think you're going to get away from this because we can't help but talk about
I can't
what's
help
current.
it.
All right. Well,
and
I
a
hate
Herschel
you all,
with his
but
shotgun that just doesn't unload.
I understand. Okay, so other than Fringe, returning, we also have Fringe, The Walking Dead. My personal favorite is Supernatural on the CW. It's going into its 8th season now.
I believe, huh?
No, I hope it goes for 10.
No, and I see the commercials, the trailers sometimes. I thought it was around for like 2-3 years, and I find out like I forget where I read it, but 8 years. I'm like, really, 8 years?
Yeah,
I haven't gotten into it. I should. I love supernatural stuff. Is that what it's about?
That's exactly what it's about. It's about 2 brothers who hunt demons, ghosts, and monsters. And
that sounds like my life, actually.
They get into an awesome car. The fans have dubbed it the Metallica car. It's a 70s muscle car. And they listen to old 70s hard rock on cassette tape. and they, fire at ghosts.
Like a guy in college I used to know.
Yeah, they fire at ghosts with shotgun shells full of white salt because rock salt, apparently, salt is the way to repel spirits.
That really is what I do, though, in my real life.
You thought he was
Joel is our resident hunter.
Pour some sugar on me.
That's the 80s. Also, it sucks.
Yes.
Here, give him some Kleenex.
Look
He's
at
crying
that.
now. He's up in the corner crying.
A lot of criers in this show.
I know.
Speaking of that supernatural kind of stuff,
Yeah.
I am actually... Okay, so Alphas is back on currently now. They're on fourth or fifth show, I think. And this is season 2. Now, when season 1 was out, I was like, oh, that looks pretty cool. And then it conflicted with my schedule and I didn't get to watch it. And I've seen a couple episodes here and there. But what I've seen, I was like, oh my God, I really like this. So the new season was on yesterday, I think. And I was watching the episode and I was like, okay, seriously, I have to go back. So I went and got season 1 and I'm going to watch it all the way through. And then now we're in season 2 and I'm really excited about it because it's awesome. And it's got the chick that played River from Serenity in it.
Summer Glau.
Summer. Yeah, she's awesome. And everything I've seen so far.
It still hasn't been canceled?
No, it still hasn't been canceled.
Hey, knock on wood. Come on now.
We don't have any wood here. Everything's plasticky.
Your heads.
That's what she said.
But it's also available on Hulu, I believe, and I know for a fact Netflix On Demand has the first season of Alphas.
That's on Sci-Fi, right, Rachel?
That's on Sci-Fi, yeah.
Sci-Fi.
Yeah, speaking of sci-fi, there's another show that speaking of the paranormal stuff, Paranormal Witness. I really like it. It premiered last year around the time we did the Winchester Mystery House stuff.
Is that a reality show?
Kind of. I mean, it's based on real events that happen, but it is pretty scary. I mean, I like the Paranormal Activity movies, what they've done with them, even the sequels. I do like those, but this one is really
Rachel's nodding.
What it should, what
shaking her
Paranormal Activity should be. Why don't you like the Paranormal Activity ones?
I can't do the paranormal ghost demon stuff. It's really scary, and I can't do that.
Like those blinds moving behind you?
Yeah, no, bad idea.
I have kept seeing a shadow move behind you. I just didn't want to say anything.
There was kind of a face, but it was there and then gone. I wasn't sure.
This is not like a girly scared of ghosts type thing. Like, this is based on real life experiences, and it's just too real that I can't watch it because I've experienced so many things.
Save that for the Halloween show.
It was
we are going to share some stories.
It's just
I'll share my stories then. Ugh.
All right, so other great returning shows in the same sort of spooky vein. True Blood on HBO, another one of my personal favorites. That's when you send the kiddies to bed, rush them out of the room, and you and your one true love snuggle up and watch some naked vampires happening.
So many vampire shows out, though.
I know.
There's Vampire Hunters too, and like that.
And also on the CW, it's not the same night as Supernatural, but Vampire Diaries is returning. What season are they in?
Oh, yeah, Vampire Diaries. That's what I meant.
Okay.
Aren't they like in 4 or 5 too?
I don't know. I never watched that show.
Yeah, that's another show that I keep seeing the commercials, and it's like it's been around forever. I just don't know how many seasons actually.
Where's Blade at when you need him?
Absolutely.
Right?
You know?
What happened to that cartoon? Wasn't it a cartoon for a while?
I thought it was a cartoon, and then wasn't there also like a
There was a live action
That was a live
show.
action,
Yeah.
but that lasted like 2 episodes, so we're going with the cartoon. Speaking of cartoons, Rachel, I can't believe you're not looking forward to this one. I think you know what I'm talking about.
I am. I just been waiting so I can really talk about it because I'm going to take 5 minutes here and talk about Clone Wars Season 5. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. And guess what happened at Celebration? Dave Filoni was talking about it and everybody's trying to get information out of him. And he hinted to the fact that Darth Maul is going to team up with Death Watch. Oh, so I'm really excited about this.
Oh, we can't tell.
I still can't wrap my head around Darth Maul being back.
Now, does he
have like cybernetic spider legs? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, and
Close.
I love Dave Filoni, and whatever he wants to do, okay, that's fine. But I really have an issue with Darth Maul coming back, and so whatever. Death Watch is going to fix that because they're Mandalorians and they're awesome. So
now here's a question I've had for a while. How long are these Clone Wars? I mean, it's making it look like the 100-Year War is the shortest war ever. This Clone Wars goes on forever and ever and ever. How many seasons do you think they can really have? Like, they're just going to milk this till whenever?
Until Lucas dies.
No, I think they're going to, because they mentioned that on how we're creeping up onto actual storyline here. I think he's going to run it for probably 2 more seasons, and then it's going to be really questionable on whether they're going to cut it or whether they're going to shift their focus onto something else, like the live action show.
Underworld.
Very exciting.
Yeah, I know. I should be helping with this show in case anyone's listening. Thank you. Yeah.
I think you should help with the reboot, actually, because we're creeping up, actually, on reboot or reimagining time for Star Wars, the movies. Yeah, I said it. So what?
This is going to have to be a whole nother show conversation.
And then Joseph Gordon-Levitt's going to be in it because he's in everything these days.
I'm not complaining about that.
He'll be Jedi Master. Jedi Master Robin.
Take my money.
We forgot one very important show, you guys, that is like my favorite show.
Go ahead.
Smurfs?
No. Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang Theory.
Oh. I haven't been into that in a while. I watched the first few seasons. I have them on DVD. It's a good show. I just don't know if it's a great show.
See, again, I've told the story many times on air before. I was told at another radio station I used to work at before, because they were huge fans of the Big Bang Theory. Mm-hmm. When they heard the show that I'm doing, they said, "You got to watch this show." I have. Mm-hmm. It's not very nerdy, very geeky to me. To me, it just sounds like actors just throwing out references just because they're written for them.
Yeah. Hell yeah. It doesn't do geeks justice. It just like a...
All right.
It seems like it's making fun of geeks too much.
Oh, yeah. Satirically.
But what, Rachel?
That's our life, though. That's what really happens. Let's be real. We've all been made fun of the entire time we've been into geek culture.
Hold on a second. No. You haven't. You guys have. I'm way older than all of you guys. I used to be thrown into lockers and all that stuff.
So was I.
Because I had Star Wars T-shirts and everything. See, you can proudly show it off.
No, only
we can recently. Now. We're adults. Yeah. We don't
that's
care.
What I mean.
I was pretty cool when I was growing up, so no one ever picked on me.
Yeah, so
he's a latent life geek.
See, now we can make fun of those people that used to put me in the lockers, because now we can hire them to be the janitor that comes in and cleans the studio. Yeah, used to put me in my locker. Yeah, now what?
I think we mentioned this before, though. This is only a recent development. So we have all, even no matter what generation, we have all been made fun of for this. And I really like the Big Bang Theory. I do think it does justice, not to every form of geek, but to the majority. And I think it is a really good show, and I love it. And season 6 is what we're on now, and I'm going to stand up for this one, guys.
I just remember that one dude from Roseanne.
The what?
The main character is that? Oh yeah, that one dude from Roseanne. That's how I remember him. The most.
Boyfriend, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The overly sensitive guy.
Yeah. Well, actually, one of the shows, I think it's gone now. Breaking In was one that I really liked. I thought Breaking In was what the Big Bang Theory was trying to be, where they had a lot of geek nerd references. In fact, they even recorded an episode at Comic-Con, but just nobody ever watched it. One, it was on too late.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, and we got to meet them, actually. Christian Slater was in WonderCon a couple years ago. In fact,
I enjoy the Christian Slater very much.
In his office, he was sitting on the Captain Kirk chair. I've told the story before. That came from his house, from his personal collection, because he's a huge Trekkie.
That's wonderful.
That one I liked. It's gone. Like I said, that one was supposed to be what the Big Bang Theory is supposed to be, but Breaking In did it better than the Big Bang Theory.
Did they do it first?
No.
No? Oh, too bad.
They just did it better.
Okay.
But nobody noticed, so it's gone. So Big Bang Theory, what is it? 6, you said? Rachel?
6. Yep, it's season 6, and I'm really excited.
When is that on? Wednesday?
That starts September 27th, which is Thursday.
On CBS, right?
On TBS, I believe.
TBS?
No, I think that's syndication. I think the first runs are going to be on CBS.
CBS.
Oh, I'm not sure. I'll have to look it up. But either way, it's September 27th.
The sort of underground nerd show that is returning for its 5th season that I'm excited about, it's going to be probably late in the season. It's supposedly going to come out in January of next year, is the Venture Brothers. And I'm passionate about Venture Brothers the same way that Rachel is passionate about Big Bang Theory. That it's a show by nerds for nerds. And it's making fun of 70s cartoons and making fun of old comic books. It's making fun of the superhero genre and mystery and super science. And it does it in a way that really builds upon itself, and there's this whole involved universe that takes place on this silly Adult Swim animated show.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious. It is just hysterically fall down, pee your pants laughing kind of show.
Kind of what Comic Book Man tried to do last year on AMC.
Yeah, I saw that. What happened to that?
I've never heard of this.
Is it coming back?
Somebody watched it.
It was like Pawn Stars and a little bit of like Geek Speak, but not Geek Speak.
Yeah, it was. It was a little bit of everything, because you didn't know what to think of it, because it starts with Kevin and his people doing their Smodcast.
Mm-hmm.
Then it goes to the comic book shop, and then it's a guy with a Batmobile, and then another guy brings his comic book collection, and they're ninjas, and they're like, what am I watching? What is this?
Yeah.
My girlfriend was not a fan of that show.
The Venture Brothers
I
is
watched
very
it,
much
though.
like that. Like the first few episodes, you're like, what is going on? And then you realize what's going on, and you get the joke, and you're in on it. And it feels like the best inside joke that you have with your friends, but better, because it's so witty, and it's so just, it's a neoclassic in my mind.
Yeah, so we mentioned Arrow, Vampire Diaries, Beauty and the Beast is a new one coming. I think there's two, actually, but the first one is coming to the CW, I think on the same night as Vampire Diaries.
Okay.
I never got into the first Beauty and the Beast, the one with Linda Hamilton, so...
It looks interesting, but it's so dated now.
Yeah.
Didn't he live in the sewer in that one?
Yeah, he did, in New York City. That was Ron Perlman, Hellboy.
What a beast.
I thought, when I first saw it way back then, I thought it was a TMNT live action thing until I saw the Beauty and the Beast.
Nice.
Nah.
He must have stank so much if he lived in the sewer.
He's all hairy.
American Horror Story Season 2, I believe it is, right? Is coming back to the FX. We talked
Halloween
Fringe
season.
already. Once Upon a Time, my wife is a huge fan of that. We had Jiminy Cricket on earlier this year on the show, so he will be coming back. 666 Park Avenue. That's one show that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
For one reason alone. Terry O'Quinn. Anything that Terry O'Quinn is in, John Locke from Lost. Anything that he's in, I'm there to watch. So I want to see that. Once Upon a Time, like I said, I mentioned. Grimm, I mentioned. This is the one I'm looking forward to. It's next Monday. As we record this, next Monday, the 17th September. JJ's new one on NBC, Revolution.
Oh, yeah.
That I want to see. Although I will say this, I heard from Louise included, who was at Comic-Con, and they saw the pilot. It's pretty slow, but hopefully it picks up. Yeah. But then again, Undercovers was slow too, and well, we know what happened with that one.
I'm not 100% sure on this, but I believe that Eric Kripke, who's the creator and showrunner of Supernatural, is also involved in the making of J.J. Abrams' new show of Revolution.
Not to be confused with The Revolution, which is the daytime talk show starring Ty Pennington, Tim Gunn, Fashion Week.
Prince's old backup band. But yeah, that one, I like the premise on that one, actually. And Rachel and I, we talk about it when she was trying to get me to get my fancy schmancy new phone. What if
technology
it all just went out? Yeah. Electricity, everything. Wow, how would we survive? Well, we're about to find out, I guess.
I watch a lot of the Science Channel and stuff like that, and apparently in the year 2013, the sun is going to be at its apex, and there's going to be like nuclear storms coming from sun radiation, and it could potentially knock out all of the electricity in the world temporarily.
Well, that's a story here. I mean, December 21st, we'll know if that's even going to happen or not.
Absolutely.
A lot of post-apocalyptic visions and theories on how the world's going to end.
Mm-hmm. But The Walking Dead is the best one.
What does that say about us as a culture, though?
We've had enough.
Sick of ourselves, yeah.
We just want to die already or something.
So those are a lot of the shows, the genre shows that we're looking forward to. We all like Modern Family and the comedies and drama shows. Those are coming back also, of course.
I'm a Gleek. I'm the only one here. You can all make fun of me now.
Turn her mic off.
I'm a big music theater nerd.
Again, go to I'll put it up on our Facebook page. I'll have the there's a little, what do you call that? Not a map,
Links
a
page?
grid. No, a grid
okay.
where it tells you all the channels, the times, all that stuff. You guys can set your DVRs or watch it live. They love you for watching it live. Otherwise, it'll go the way of Fringe.
And as these things come out on DVD, we'll probably get you the times and places where you can pick those up. Because that's how I watch everything. Is I wait for it to come out on DVD so I don't have to deal with commercials.
Blu-ray.
Can someone go on our
Blu-ray
Facebook
too.
page and just spoil everything for Jay?
I won't read it.
I was going to ask you, Jay. I was going to ask you if you have
Yeah.
a Blu-ray, but you do because you have a PS3.
Absolutely, yes.
So yeah, you can watch it on there. So that's TV Talk. That's the show for this week. Batman Live. Did you look for that?
I Googled it, and it's apparently a full stage show, and it's coming to San Jose, and I want to know where I can get tickets and how much they cost. I probably won't be able to go.
It's not like Spider-Man. Turn off the lights.
Dark.
Nobody gets hurt here. This one
Good.
actually works. The Batmobile, everything works.
Yeah, I've heard good things about this Batmobile and about the set design and the
It's
costumes.
a full-scale production. You go to Arkham Asylum, Gotham City.
Absolutely.
The Joker's in it, Penguin.
Wait, is this a play or like
Yeah.
It's a play, but they have an actual working Batmobile that was designed by a real stock car driver.
Do you have to drive in the
Right.
do you have to drive under the hood like that old school 1990s Batmobile?
I have no idea. I don't know what it looks like.
Oh.
I guess it looks like a race car, but
I guess we
black
did.
and sleek.
It actually looks a lot like the one. What's the one that had the big tailpipe at the end?
Was that Batman Part 4?
The one with Val Kilmer.
Oh, the Val
looks
Kilmer.
like
Batman
that
Forever.
Batmobile. Yeah, it looks like that Batmobile.
Okay.
But that one's coming Batman Live. We're gonna have either the cast or some of the crew on with us pretty soon. Also, just talked to them yesterday. We were planning it out. Winchester Mystery House Fright Nights returning again for its second year. We're going to be there. I wish Rachel was here so we can put the video on her when those things come flying out of her.
When I'm covering my eyes and screaming.
Yeah.
Things are flying out of Rachel.
Jay already said she doesn't want to go because she doesn't do too good with scary. I think we should take her anyway, just
No,
because
it's
of,
not
just
because
for that.
it's because I'm not scared, and I've been to the Winchester Mystery
Prove
House
it.
like
Prove
5
it.
times. It just bores me at this point.
And well, then maybe you should want to go to this one. And Dr. Jeff Dwyer, who's all paranormal, a real investigator, not those made up ones. He's a real paranormal investigator, good friend of the show. We're arranging the October stuff. What we want to do this year is we want to go either to Alcatraz or go with him to one of his appearances and see if
Alcatraz would be cool.
We see something.
That's
I want to go to Alcatraz.
Well, come on over.
Oh, I might have to do that.
What else? Oh, how can I forget? In a couple of weeks, Fringe returns. J.H. Wyman, one of the executive producers, coming on the show. Not gonna spoil anything. He's just gonna tell us, how he feels now that it's the end, and might have a scoop for you guys.
Ooh.
JJ and him have come up with a new series for NBC. He'll tell us a little bit about that, what it is.
Very excited.
You just have to wait till next week.
And
to
more
find
things are coming up on the Geek Speak show. So, Rachel, you want to do the honors again this week?
This is my favorite part. Tune in next week, guys, where we are going to speak more geek.
See ya.
Bye.
Adios.
The Geek Speak Show will be back next week with a brand new episode. In the meantime, follow them on Twitter at Geek Speak Show 1. That's the number 1. Become a fan on Facebook. Subscribe on iTunes. Watch special event coverage and the Geek Speak video show on YouTube/Geek Speak Videos. And listen to past shows in the archive section on thegeekspeakshow.com. A big thank you to the Geek Speak Show's content providers, GeekTyrant.com, Collider.com, RamaScreen.com, and MightyVille.com. The Geek Speak Show.